The laughter echoed through the quiet school hallway like a cruel song. Sarah Mitchell, a middle-aged English teacher with gentle eyes and a calm demeanor, bent down to pick up the stack of papers that had been knocked from her hands. Behind her, a group of rowdy high school seniors snickered, their voices dripping with mockery. "Careful there, Ms. Mitchell," one of them sneered. "Wouldn't want you breaking a hip." Another added, "She's just a week-old bookworm. What could she ever do?" The crowd laughed harder. Sarah said nothing. She simply collected her papers, her face unreadable, her silence only fueling their arrogance. What no one in that small town knew was that Sarah Mitchell wasn't just a teacher. Before moving to Maplewood, she had spent nearly 2 decades as one of the FBI's top agents, specializing in behavioral analysis and undercover missions. She had stared down dangerous criminals, infiltrated crime syndicates, and faced moments where one wrong move could cost her life. But she had walked away from that world years ago, craving peace after too many battles. All she wanted was to teach, to nurture young minds, and to live a life untouched by violence. Yet, despite her patience and kindness, some students saw her quiet nature as weakness, and they made her their target. Day after day, the bullying escalated. Whispers behind her back, cruel drawings left on her desk, fake phone calls meant to rattle her nerves. It wasn't just the students either. Some parents, hardened by small-town gossip, questioned why a woman like her had moved there at all. "She's hiding something," they would murmur in the grocery store aisle. "No one leaves the city to come teach here without a reason." Sarah heard the whispers but kept her head high. She knew what real danger looked like, and this wasn't it. But what broke her heart wasn't the cruelty, it was the fear she saw in other students' eyes, the ones too shy or too different to stand up for themselves. She recognized that look because she had seen it countless times in her FBI work, the eyes of victims who believed no one would protect them. One Friday evening, everything changed. The football team had just lost a big game, and their frustration turned toward Sarah. A group of seniors cornered her in the parking lot. They shoved her books onto the ground, surrounding her with mocking laughter. "What are you gonna do, Ms. Mitchell? Quote Shakespeare at us?" one of them jeered. Sarah stayed calm, her voice steady but firm. "Go home. This isn't the path you want to take." Her tone wasn't pleading, it was commanding, almost chilling in its quiet authority. The boys laughed louder. One stepped closer, squaring his shoulders. "Or what? You're just a teacher." What happened next silenced them all. In a single fluid motion, Sarah sidestepped his shove, hooked his arm, and had him pinned gently but firmly against the hood of a car before he even realized what had happened. The others froze, their smirks vanishing. She released him immediately, her eyes sharp as steel. "I said, go home." For the first time, the group saw not a timid schoolteacher, but someone who radiated power and control. They stumbled away, muttering excuses, their bravado shattered. News of the incident spread like wildfire. The bullies didn't brag about it, instead, their silence spoke volumes. But whispers began swirling through the town. Who was this woman who could disarm a teenage football player without breaking a sweat? Finally, a curious parent searched her name online, and the truth emerged. Sarah Mitchell, former FBI agent. The community was stunned. Some were fearful, others impressed, but the students, they began to see her in a new light. Respect replaced mockery. The same kids who once laughed now leaned forward in class, curious about the woman who had lived a life far beyond their small town. Still, Sarah didn't gloat. She never boasted about her past, nor did she intimidate her students with it. Instead, she used it as a lesson. Slowly, she began weaving life skills into her teaching. She taught her students how to read people's behavior, how to recognize manipulation, how to stay calm under pressure. She showed them that strength wasn't about violence or dominance but about discipline, resilience, and protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. One student in particular, Emily, a quiet, bookish girl who had endured years of bullying, found courage in Sarah's example. When her classmates mocked her, Emily remembered Sarah's calm strength and stood a little taller. She began participating in class, speaking up for herself, and even defending others. Sarah saw the change and smiled, knowing her mission in this small town was bigger than any FBI assignment she had ever taken. But Sarah's greatest challenge came not from the students, but from herself. Old memories resurfaced, cases that had ended badly, people she couldn't save. At night, she wrestled with guilt and questions.